Conrad of Sword Fight Garage Band, and I am also one of the instructors for Ironwood Historic Swordsmanship. I was asked about techniques for training at home, and so I wanted to share a little bit about what I do at home when I'm not able to get together with my club and do fencing. There's no substitute for sparring. I think that the best training one can do for fencing is more fencing. However, we can't always have our clubmates around with us when we are getting in our time to practice. And so in between those sessions with your club, it's good to be able to do some drills at home, especially when someone is new to fencing. One of the most important things that you can learn is your management of distance and figuring out what your own threat range is with a variety of the different weapons that you're going to be fencing with. For my own Pell, what I've done is I've taken a 5-gallon bucket and put in a 4x4 wooden post, used concrete to root it into that 5-gallon bucket. I've surrounded the Pell with an old rug, kind of duct taped off a couple different zones on the Pell itself for my differentiation of high, mid, and low range targets, and that helps absorb a little bit of the force from whatever fetter or waster I'm using during my drills. And what I like about having the Pell rooted in a 5-gallon bucket is it's mobile. I can move it around to different positions in my yard if I need to put it away somewhere. But what it also does is you will get some motion or movement to the post that is in the concrete bucket. And so when you are doing your training, if you are training in different levels of force in your strikes, the amount of motion that the Pell will go through, dependent on the type of strike, can be a great way to give you feedback on what it is that you're doing with your strikes, the structure that you're using, the amount of force that you're putting into it, and that can be very useful for training in a variety of different fencing environments. I don't use my regular steel fetters when it comes to my Pell work, just because the steel doesn't absorb much of the force when you're striking the wooden Pell, at least not with the level of padding I have on it. And so I use my original synthetic fetter that I first got when I started working within the HEMA community. And while I don't use this fetter for fencing training, it's great for Pell work. The synthetic fetter does absorb more of the vibrations during strikes, and it's still, with the quillions and the structure of the blade, gives you good feedback as far as how you're going through the different cuts and different techniques. Because you're not doing bind work with a Pell, the flex that a synthetic fetter has is not really a detriment. For practice in one-handed sword work, whether it's for saber or arming sword, I will actually utilize a rattan stick. And the rattan stick that I will use is thicker than what you would normally see for single stick, because I like to utilize a heavier object for training purposes. A rattan stick that's utilized for armored combat in the Society for Creative Anachronism. It's 1.25 inches or so thickness rattan, and for length you can cut it to whatever length you would like to utilize to match your own saber or arming sword, whatever it is that you're training with. But the great thing with this is that you can utilize any level of force, and the rattan will absorb the force, so you're not getting excessive shock coming into your hand or wrist joints. And so you can go through a lot of different techniques utilizing this as your tool with the Pell, and it can just be a great way to train without needing to worry about wear and tear on your metal fencing implements that you normally use. Thank you very much. Once again, I'm Michael Conrad with Sword Fight Garage Band, one of the instructors for Ironwood Historic Swordsmanship. Happy fencing!